Start recording. Boom. Folks, listen. Come on in. I've not streamed for a long time, but yeah. Tonight, I have something to say. I've met Brian. Let me get everything situated here. Come, don't leave. I have contacted Brian again. No, let's start here. If I have ever woken up with a female in a hotel room, and I was like, yo, baby. And she's like, oh, Michael, that morning, Brett. And I said, yo, I'm going downstairs. I pack my shit. I go downstairs for some orange juice. That's what I tell you. I say that to you. Yo, I need some orange juice. And you are in the hotel room from 9 till 12 till they kick you out. Michael is nowhere to be found. It's Brian's fault. If I have crossed your path in the past, and you was like, yo, why are you so arrogant? Why are you like this? Why you don't care about nobody? It's Brian's fault. I choose not to go live because I might, this is my third time start recording, and I was like, I'm going back nostalgic. Yes. I'm like, fuck, am I traumatized? Was I traumatized by this motherfucker called Brian? Let me go back to the 80s. Yes, I'm almost 50. Folks, you have to watch, especially if you are Jamaican. Now I understand why a grown man can tell a child, say, hey, go and put a bullet in that guy over there, and the child just pra, pra, pra. No question asked. I understand now why. I was not grown up in a garrison of Jamaica. I was growing up in a good household. Now I'm open up to you guys because now I am in contact with Brian, the first influential guy in my life. No, Diddy. He's my cousin. We are blood related. So it's not like, yeah. I was so influential by that guy. I love that guy. Serious. He's a couple years older than I am. So when I was 9, 10, he was in his teens. Yes? Arrogant to the fullest. You think I am arrogant? That motherfucker is even 10 times arrogant than I am. And I know my father is not this arrogant. My mother was never this arrogant. But sometimes I wonder, oh, am I so arrogant? Why can I not give a fuck about some people? Brian is to be blamed. And I know that this is my therapy. That is why I got this. I created this YouTube channel for me to rant sometime. Like no, it's Christmas. Christmas is next week, and for all my family members who never reach out to me in the entire 12 and a half months. No, 11 and a half months. Don't reach out to me now. You are a grown man. Handle your handle. All my brothers are now over the age of 36. Handle your handle. You're working. Make this Christmas merry for you. Don't call me, expect me to make your Christmas merry. Nobody's making my Christmas merry. Fuck out of here. But anyway, back to Brian. Yes, I'm traumatized. I think Brian traumatized me because ever since I am now in contact with Brian, I'm like, this emotion just coming up. So I'm like, yo, people, Jamaicans, watch who you allow to grow your kids because they can influence your child. Brian influenced me to the max. I was a small boy. Big head. Still have a big head, but it is what it is. Brian would come from school and we would sit and he would just tell me whatever. If Brian was in America, if Brian was in Jamaica, because he left to England, if Brian was in Jamaica in my formative teen years, I would be in prison, I would be dead, I would be in prison, or I would have been killed a long time ago. That stuff. Or I would be a millionaire, politician or something. Like the robbers do in Jamaica. I look up to this guy so much. I know if I was 13, 14 in Jamaica and Brian was there and Brian said, yo, hey. That guy owe me, for a gram of coke. I'm here in Holland now. Mic check. What's that? Anyway, I'm here in Holland now. So it's the metric system. If Brian said, yo, that guy owe me for a gram of coke. My question would be, you want his head or you want his money? Fuck out of here. Or you want his jaw, you want his teeth. What you want. And whatever Brian say, yo, you want, that's it. I'm going and I'm getting it. No questions asked. That's how I look up to this guy. But it is what it is now. What the hell is that? Are you hearing me? Hopefully. If not, then I will go over this again. Because the story is worth being told. So when I'm telling you people, yo, be careful who you allow. No, and it turned out good for me. We are blood relatives, so. But if you are in the garrison, which I know nothing about, I never grew up hungry. I never grew up in a one-bedroom house. That's just not how I grew up. I had breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Supper. It doesn't matter. The shop was there. I could go and steal something from the shop, which was my grandmother's shop. So, yeah. It's a supermarket here in Holland. You can call it supermarket or whatnot. You see me? See if I'm recording properly. Because I had so much admiration and so much respect for Brian when Brian left Jamaica. But before he left, yo, this is the first time I'm saying this, and Brian, please forgive me. Yo, I remember my grandma, yeah, very respectable lady in the community. But she was married to an asshole. Not the grandfather of Brian. He was already dead. But she remarried, and that fucker was making a problem. Brian was a teenager at the time, and Brian wasn't having it. And this was me behind Brian. The little pitbull. Brian would slam the door in that guy's face. BAM! The guy was in his 50s. You know, Brian didn't care. Brian said anything in front of him. Tell him, fuck off. And here was little me. Running behind Brian. That's my guy right there. Folks, I did the unthinkable. And I never forget. And I know Brian still remember. He can pretend all he wants, but now everybody's a man. Everybody knows what's happening. Brian was like, well, I can never forget one evening. We were coming through the house. Brian walking, coming from wherever, football or something. And here comes the little me behind Brian. Brian look on the table. There was a... God forgive me, but there's no God. I don't believe in no God. He was like, yo, whose food is that? I said, oh, that's my step-grandpa food. And my food is over here. Shit. Brian took up the cover off the food and went like, oh! Oh, God. Spitting the food. Folks, that's 40 years ago. Don't blame me. But I never forget. And Brian had the cover in his hand. And being the nigger that he is, he looked at me. And I was like, look up at him. So what? And I knew immediately, oh, you want me to join you? No matter. Yo, I took the salt shaker. In my mouth, I took some salt. I went outside in the rain. I automatically I got COVID-19 and it, and I went oh, God forgive me in the plane and recovered it back for this asshole to come and eat. Oh, God help me. But that's the guy I am currently in contact with. So now I am like, fuck. Should I contact this guy? Because, yo, it's, yo. And I know that guy made me who I am because he was so influential in my early years. Between the years of 5, 11, 5 or say 12, a child is most influential. I'm telling you. Brian was so instrumental in my early years that when he booked out and was like, okay, mama sent for me now, I'm in England. So here comes his little brother, Arville. Yeah, I call his name now. Everybody's almost 50 or my age. You see me? Here comes Arville. Folks, I met Arville at the door of the plane. And I was like, oh, that's you. Okay, come. No, I in my head, this is another smaller Brian. He's younger than Brian, so the fuck. No disrespect to Arville, but he was a pussy. This Bible thumping motherfucker was just too soft. I couldn't connect with Arville, and he was there, but he was just not there. If you know what I mean. We couldn't connect. I could not connect to Arville because it was too clean. I don't want to hear nothing about no Sunday service. Fuck out of here. I need to know when can I go and spit in somebody else's food. I want to know when I can stop a bicycle wheel. You understand? That's the shit Brian left me with. Here comes you know, Mr. Nice Guy. Arville. And he's a nice guy, for sure. But I was already tainted by Brian and his malicious behavior. And I am old enough now to admit half of what I am now is because of that motherfucker. I know that. He said to me one time, and I will never forget, yo, she's a nice girl. Yeah, I was looking at her, this woman, and young girl. And I saw me there. Don't trust those women. And that's it. Don't trust those women. And it's still in my head now. Just like, my God, why don't you trust me? Brian said it. I don't trust you because my mentor, Brian, said don't trust you. Brian said, if I have to put this foot in your asshole to get you right, that's how it should be. The door is there. It's a revolving door. It opens both ways, in and out. If you want to leave, leave. Fuck out of here. But if you decide to stay, you stay. But I will not ask you to stay. Michael Wyatt, Brian. And now I am in contact with Brian again. After almost 40 years, I'm sure. So I spent 95% of my life outside of Brian. But the 5 years was that I actually spent with him was monumental. I cannot forget those days. I no disrespect to Arville, but it is what it is, Arville. I'm sure you're a nice guy, you have kids and something. But, yeah. Let me see if I can call night. It is just what it is. Listen, man. Anyway, I don't want nobody on the phone. I was calling my co-host or something. But, Brian, if I see this, and I will send this to you, Brian. Hopefully I record it good. Yeah? My point is, if you have a child, be careful who that child is around. If the child is around some pedophile or some crackhead or something, That's who the child will emulate. And you cannot remove it. You cannot remove the influence that the child receives at a vulnerable age. You cannot remove it. You can try, but I am who I am because of Brian. That's just how it is.